So Metallica's The Black Album joined a very prestigious and rather elite group of records. It has surpassed 20 million sales. So congratulations to Metallica for accomplishing that. I really love The Black Album. It was in my top 3 when I did my Metallica albums tier list, and I sort of wanted to come on here and talk about why The Black Album has connected with so many people, going from being one of the most praised metal albums of all time, becoming the highest selling metal album of all time, and then proceeding to top 20 million sales. Because I don't think it's fair enough to just say, ooh, it's good music, it's high quality, because I think everyone knows that The Black Album is just a really good, solid album. I think there were more factors about it. I think the time period it released was incredibly important. Metal music was becoming more and more mainstream, it was very popular at the time, and heavier forms of alternative rock and grunge and stuff was becoming more and more popular around the 90s when The Black Album released. So bands like Led Zeppelin and AC/DC and Black Sabbath were very widely appealing to people. And with the advent of things like MTV and Beavis and Butthead and things like that, you had bands like Morbid Angel and Napalm Death and Cannibal Corpse being talked about on a wide stage, where Jim Carrey literally shouting out Napalm Death on national television. And Metallica had already been building up a name for themselves. Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All, they were all very well acclaimed records in their own right, but The Black Album completely breached through. Generally speaking, Ozzy Osbourne was a household name, Marilyn Manson was a household name, Rob Zombie was a household name. It was a very alive and well time. And you even had albums like Far Beyond Driven by Pantera, released back in '94, that topped the Billboard Top 200 charts, which even now that we are more desensitized than ever when it comes to loud music, seems very far-fetched to even conceptualize. But it wasn't just the fact that Metallica was in a time where rock music and metal music were performing incredibly well on the charts and was becoming more of a widely appealing thing. While the time period was embracing that a lot, it was also the way that the Black Album came across. It was still firmly metal music, and you can't say that The Black was Metallica selling out. Even though a lot of diehard fans and people that have looked back in the past said that Metallica sold out for digestibility with that record, a lot of those songs still have a very hard edge, very deep lyrical meanings, and the production was still practically very raw for the time. Metallica has never really been known for their squeaky clean production, and even though it has gotten better on albums like Death Magnetic and Hardwired in terms of like boosting up their production to sound a lot cleaner, Metallica was never really known for having super clean production. This album was still very raw, it was still very heavy at many points, and a lot of the riffs were still groovy as hell. But I would be lying if I said that this album wasn't a lot more appealing than Master of Puppets or Ride the Lightning to an average listener that wasn't really familiar with a lot of heavier forms of rock and specifically metal. A lot of the songs here are a lot more digestible and commercially viable to a wider audience, and it is also full to the brim of songs that toe the line or just completely go in the direction of being a ballad, more moodier sections, more atmospheric sections. The whole thing comes across in more of a well fleshed out light, and I personally really appreciate that. I think that the fact that the Black Album was so multifaceted is a gold piece that they never struck again. I don't think that there was a Metallica record prior, and I don't think there's been a Metallica record since that has so successfully towed the line between heaviness as well as softness and more somber approaches to rock and metal music as the Black Album did. And of course you have the momentum and snowball effect, where it has the timeless quality, it has the legendary iconic quality of people pointing at it and saying, yeah, you know that album cover, yeah, you know those songs, you've heard Enter Sandman, you've heard Sad But True, you've heard The Unforgiven. And chances are, even if someone doesn't listen to Metallica or doesn't listen to this album, if you show them the album cover, it's going to be like seeing Nevermind by Nirvana. It is so iconic, and Metallica is so baked into our modern lexicon, but also visually, it is just an iconic album through and through. So while it is kind of easy to say that it was because it was more appealing, that it was more commercially viable, I don't think that it's fair to Metallica to say that this wasn't a very raw record still, or an incredibly mature record, maybe their most mature record. I think a bigger indicator of the times that a lot of people don't talk about is the time it was birthed from, and how it was such a perfect period of music to welcome that sort of thing, and the hype and acclaim that it got only boosted it more, because the more momentum it got, the more people checked it out, and the more timeless it became. And that is why it's still selling tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of copies every single year, every other year, consistently, without failure, still garnering millions upon millions of streams every year across different platforms. terms. It's because it's high quality, it's because of the legacy that this album entailed, and it is sort of lightning in a bottle. It is a perfect storm. But I want to know what your guys' opinions are of the Black Album by Metallica and it hitting 20 million sales overall. You can let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear it. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.